What is up YouTube? My name is Vinny and welcome to Road Blast Media. Before we crack on with this video, make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button. Always supports the channel and it helps it grow. We're almost at 2,000. So yeah, thank you very much all of the subscribers. You've been amazing. And real quickly, one of my subscribers, John Martin, had recently just been in a sort of a motorcycle crash. He got rear-ended. So buddy, from the whole Road Blast Media crew, we are hoping you a quick recovery and hopefully you can get back on your saddle soon. But yeah, anyway, today's video is about why cafe races are so special and sort of the history behind them and things like that. Yeah, so this is my Royal Enfield Continental GT. It's a sort of the British standard cafe racer, you know. But it's obviously suited for modern times. You can buy these fresh off the showroom floor. They're not as modified as mine. I've got an exhaust system and a few other things on there as my customizations go, which I will get into further in the video. But yeah, so that's sort of a cool example of a cafe racer you can buy at an affordable price point. There is other ones, but sometimes they're a little bit more steep. But yeah, so the history of the cafe races, they first originated back in like the 1950s, and there was a cafe called the Ace Cafe, and all of the motorcyclists around that time on their BSAs, their Triumphs, their Nortons, possibly the odd Royal Enfield, they would all gather at this cafe, and then they would put a coin in the jukebox, and then if they could race around the circuit in time and get back before their song was over, they were really happy. They got a good time. So it kind of originated into this whole worldwide thing, and it took the world by storm. And now there's a lot of companies that are making these bikes all the way from 125 cc's all the way up to 1,000. There's customs, everything. It's wild. But yeah, so that's a little bit of a history behind it. It originated at a cafe, as you can imagine. That's why they're called cafe races. If you didn't know that, make sure to let me know in the comments. But yeah, so the thing about a cafe racer and why they're so special is I think it's the way that they look, the way that they feel, and their influence on motorcycle culture as a whole. They were kind of the first generation of sports bikes, you know. They were people modifying their bikes to make them go faster, to be better handling, more aerodynamic, things like that. So what you'll find on the typical cafe racer, a classic one, is your clip-on bars, and they sit quite low down. You're quite leaned in. You tend to have quite a boxy sort of squared off tank instead of a round one. It looks a little bit more aggressive, a bit more sporty, and most of the time will have a parallel twin, although these days you can find them with a single cylinder all the way up to a 4-cylinder or a boxer engine like some other BMWs that are modified. But yeah, you tend to find with cafe racers that there's a lot of customization and love that goes into them. So yeah, that's a little bit brief explanation of what they are and also why they're special. So we're gonna hop on the saddle, go for a ride, and talk a little bit about why they're so special, and yeah, the whole sort of thing about cafe racers. So yeah, I'll see you on the saddle. Okay, so this is what happens every time I try and go out for a ride. This is my glove that he's stolen. He does not want Dad to go out for a ride, so he's hey, come on. Thank you, boy. Okay, he just always tries to make sure that hey! Always tries to make sure that I can't go out for a ride, the little bugger. But yeah, let's hop on the saddle. Alright guys, so now we're on the saddle. We're going to take this beast for a run and go on about a few more of the reasons why cafe racers are so special and why you have to kind of respect their place in the motorcycling world. Because I see a few videos and people kind of take the piss a little bit. Yummy noob. And I know it's all in jokes and all that and stuff. I know it's all good. But they tend to go on about how the cafe racer is it's for a hipster, or it's for someone who's into their retro things just because it's cool. But I honestly think it's more than that. It's not just because it's retro or whatever. I think people respect the fact that how much of an impact that these have had on motorcycling. I mean, these were genuinely like the first sports bikes. Hang on. This is kind of funny. That belongs to us. That came from our trailer. How funny. Alright. So as I was saying, they're not just about people wanting to be retro. They're more of a I guess, a homage to the earlier days of motorcycling, and the respect that, you know, is deserved for the early engineers of the day that were coming up with some of the things that we see on a lot of modern motorcycles today. On pretty much every sport bike you'll see clip-on handlebars. Now these were a thing that kind of originated out of the cafe racer movement. A lot of the time they were the British standard sort of Interceptor with the raised handlebars, you know, like that sort of similar look. But yeah, so the cafe racers had the raised foot pegs, the lower down handlebars to get more of that aerodynamic and also better handling seating position where you could get leaned over a little better. And yeah, it's really cool to see that the history of these motorbikes is still such a staple to these days. This road, by the way, is the Tauranga Eastern Link, and it's a nice, lovely, long, straight road. Very well, it's very new, so the road is like nice and smooth here. But yeah, anyway, to not diverge too much, yeah, cafe races today are quite a lot different than what they used to be. Now, this is still a very much so classic cafe racer, I would say. You know, it's very much the standard. It's got the parallel twin, you know, round headlight, clip-ons, everything. It's basically what you would find right out of the 50s and 60s, and that's why I think Royal Enfield really nailed this, because they got it down to a T on how a cafe racer should be. But yeah, these days you see them with all sorts of bikes, especially on older Japanese bikes. People convert, you know, CB1000s and like Yamaha 1000s, the old school ones with the round headlights, they convert those into a cafe racer. There's a lot of project bikes for sale that have 4-cylinder engines, you know, even the Suzuki GSX-R 750 engine in a cafe racer, which would be absolutely lethal. And now you see companies, even some Chinese companies, like Kiway, they make a 150cc single cylinder cafe racer. It's called the Kiway Cafe Racer, and I think they actually look quite smart. They're definitely underpowered and the build quality probably isn't great, but you can pick them up for like $2,100 straight off the showroom floor, which is brilliant. It'll be a great little bike for the beach and things like that. But yeah, so you can find them from 150cc's bloody all the way up to whatever you can imagine. I mean, the Triumph Thruxton R is a 1200cc, and that is also a cafe racer, a very similar setup to this Continental GT, just with a much more powerful engine. And yeah, they're absolutely awesome bikes. The history to them is really special. They pioneered the introduction on their way into the modern sports bike that you see today with the full fairings and everything. But I think the reason why people still go for these cafe races and all of that stuff is the customizability, especially on these Royal Enfields and stuff. The customizations are endless, the amount of exhaust and things like that. I almost feel you're a little limited when it comes to the modern sports bikes today, because of, you know, the full fairings and stuff. Like, there is options for customization. I just don't feel like it's as much, because you have to take apart the bike a lot more to do mods, whereas a cafe racer is rather naked, I would say. And yeah, it really makes for a special bike to modify. You know, no two cafe racers are the same, and yeah, it really makes for a special bike. It's yeah, lots of heart and passion goes into them. Even with mine, I definitely went through like a lot of options for the exhausts. I felt like this 2-into-1 system was a really cool system. It kind of modernized it, but also kept to that kind of old school looking of engineering and things like that, and gave it a bit more power. And yeah, so I definitely gave it a lot of thought. But the yeah, the modern cafe racer, I think why they're so special is it's not too dissimilar from what they were back in the day, just like how these Royal Enfields are. The modern cafe racer consists of basically all of the same stuff, except obviously better brakes, fuel injection, things like that, you know, and a bit better suspension and handling. as you can see. Woo! So yeah, they're great fun. These Royal Enfields are a really awesome sort of middle ground option. Before the Continental GT, there was no real middleweight cafe racer that you could buy off the showroom floor. You would have to customize your own. Because Triumph offered obviously the Thruxton, but that would have been a bit much for like an intermediate or learner rider, whereas this is perfect for an intermediate or learner to get on and have some mean fun without getting into too much trouble. And you know, it really shows. Like, if you look at the cafe racer community, you will see some of the most beautiful bikes you'll ever see. The customizations are endless, man. It is absolutely wicked. And yeah, it's absolutely brilliant culture, one that I'm really proud to be a part of. And yeah, it's absolutely awesome. Just everything about them is they're really special, and they hold a close place in my heart. I was kind of into my modern bikes, but as soon as I rode one, man, I was just like, it feels different, you know, it hits different. As you can see, all the trees down and stuff. There was a major windstorm earlier today. It's only just died down, so I am doing this ride a little bit later. It's about 7 PM at the moment, or 7:30. And yeah, no, it's been some wild weather lately. But yeah, no, it seems to have cleared up as it usually does for my videos when I want to make one. But yeah, so that's basically all I have to say anyway today. It's just a little brief history on a cafe racer, and why I think they're quite special and deserve a bit of respect in the motorcycling world, because these days they're definitely not the pinnacle of performance. They're definitely not the pinnacle of handling, but they used to be, and they paved the way for the pinnacle of handling and performance that is known today. So even though they don't hold up like they used to, they're very fun. They're gorgeous to look at. The amount of comments I get on this thing is still incredible. I love it. Every time at the gas station, you know, I get people hitting me up asking about it and just giving me compliments and stuff about why this bike is as cool as it is. But look at that, man. You can just still get it like caning through a corner. Sorry, just on full focus there, guys. Those are some of my favorite corners down this road. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. They deserve a bit of respect. They're not just for the hipsters. They're for people who want to own a piece of motorcycling heritage and a piece like of the puzzle of the engineering that it took to get to bikes to where they are today. So yeah, absolutely love these bikes. Now down in the comments below, if you are still watching, I want you to tell me your favorite cafe racer. Now it could be one that comes out of the factory, doesn't matter if it's a 150 or a 1400, I couldn't care less. But even if it's a customization, let me know. And if there's a link to some photos of the customization that you think is the coolest, whether it's through a company or whatever, post it in the comments, and I'll judge which one I think is the best. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you all are having a great you know, year, a good 2022. I hope no one's getting hit too hard by the bullshit and everything else that's going on, and I hope that you can all get out on your bikes and have a great time. If you own a cafe racer, what one do you own, or what one's your favorite? Thank you so much. This is Vinny from Road Blast Media. Cheers, guys.